Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently trading at 40,148, down 1.48%. Ethereum trading at 2311, down 0.86%. If you're new here, I'd just like to let you know that everything I do for you is free. Twice a day, 7 days a week, I share my experience as a full-time technical trader with over 20 years of experience to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Rule 174, the T-cube method, trend, timing, trigger. We did the timing video just before this video. We're going to focus on the trend. Episode 154 focused on the timing. Timing gets deep into the crypto subsystem. It's full-on technical analysis. In that episode, I introduced you to Rule 106, concentrated focus. Concentrated focus means very different things when we're looking at the trend. Golfer Jack Nicklaus said, "Concentration is a fine cure to anxiety." Now, what does this mean in terms of trading and investing? It really means you can get rid of anxiety by knowing how everything is moving. It's a really important thing to go very wide in trend and go very, very narrow in timing. In trend, you look through everything. In timing, you pick a handful. It's incredibly different. Bruce Lee, a martial artist and a philosopher, an actor, director, and a variety of different things, he said, "The successful warrior is the average person with a laser-like focus." This focus, this laser-like focus we have, is looking right across the market. We look at everything. We need to. The first thing we need to understand is how Bitcoin and cryptos relate to other potential investment vehicles. We can see here gold is down 7% for the year, the S&P 500 is up 36%, and Bitcoin is up 267%. If we look at the CAGR, the compound annual growth rate, we can see that it's really quite good. These returns are hovering around the 100% mark. If anything, these returns have increased year on year. I'd just like to say thank you to the moderators of our community for keeping it safe from scammers. I've also hidden crypto gems throughout this video. Unless you watch to the end, you'll miss them. See how many you can find. A gem is to understand that when investors seek to place their money into something, they're really seeking the maximum return. S&P 500 is not bad at 36%. Gold, unfortunately, has lost 7%. Bitcoin has gained 267%. The increase in value has to be weighed off against risk. A lot of people at the moment do not understand Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They don't understand it's the foundation of the internet of value. You're literally owning the next Google, Amazon, Facebook, everything in one coin, Bitcoin. And of course, the alts are incredibly valuable too. To look at it from that perspective is a hidden crypto gem. To gain the overall trend, we look at the KSModel, which is a crypto technical trading model based on institutional price psychology. It's covered more in episodes 138, 139, and 140 if you'd like to look back at those. The key hidden crypto gem in this is to compare the same psychologies. Compare sunlight to sunlight. The darkness of the bear market to the darkness of the bear market. The consolidation phase to the consolidation phase. Now, why do we do that? Okay, let's think about it. From a psychological perspective, people expect prices to go up. Institutions have run the numbers, they've crunched the numbers, they understand where this is going. They've got a lot of very smart quantitative people that they hire. they know price is going higher, and they push it up exponentially. It's really important to understand that Bitcoin is an exponential asset class. This is a logarithmic diagram. These lines, these blow-off tops, are all about exponential on exponential price increases. Bitcoin is driven by euphoria and despair, or capitulation. Euphoria is responsible for these blow-off tops. We know we've reached the top of a bull market when we have price action like this. We expect the action to be around this white dot, but for sure we know that this green sun, which is the length of this particular cycle here, the 2016, is the first one in sight. When comparing same psychologies, we must compare the bull market psychology to the bull market psychology to the bull market psychology. If we look at realized cap hodl waves, we see that there are 3 waves. We've had 1, we're expecting 2 more. When we get to a blow off top, which is euphoria, that is really important to understand that can hammer in either a middle term top or an absolute top. We're waiting for that price action. At the moment, we're in this yellow zone, which is optimism. The last cycle, the yellow zone, was down around here. We could put it here. There's still a way to go psychologically in the current bull market phase. When we reach a peak, we notice the number of transfers to exchanges of Bitcoin spikes up dramatically. What we are witnessing right now is not a spike like this. That means we have a way to go. A lot of technical analysts, when they look at this price action, they don't see the actual driver behind this price. This is the actual driver behind the price, the technological adoption curve. Crypto, Bitcoin, is the foundation of the next internet. It upgrades the internet to the internet of value, the internet of money. And so too do all the alts on the Bitcoin ecosystem. When we compare how the internet grew from 92 to 2006, it grew very, very strongly. It was an incredible period of growth. What we're looking at now is crypto is growing far in excess of the internet's growth rate over the same relative time period. This is a normalized comparative graph. What we're seeing is the uptake in the internet will be nothing on the uptake of crypto. As Bitcoin is a deflationary exponential asset class, when more and more and more people want Bitcoin, they will have to pay more and more money. And because it's driven by euphoria, that price will go exponential across the years. You're really at the start of this financial revolution. When we talk about concentrated focus, you've just had a look at the trend of Bitcoin. Now we need to check what is happening in the markets and across economic data, and then we need to drill very rapidly across the top 50 alts. Rule 193, check the stock market. The most important news today is Jerome Powell's press conference. This is really important. Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve, came out with a number of issues. I'm going to cover those off in the charts. It's really important that we focus primarily on the US stock market. I'm going to cover these other markets off too, but the focus is on the US because it actually accounts for around 56% of global stock market value. The US is currently in early stage economic recovery. Jerome Powell expressed concern about the coronavirus, the Delta variant. We can see in the USA 57% increase of cases week over week. We're really wanting to see this kind of behavior that the UK has, a reduction in weekly cases. For the past week, 3,913,687 new cases were identified. The Fed chairman said that the most important thing were the vaccine doses. Let's keep our eye on that figure. Every day we go quickly through the major economic indicators. We see the real M2 money stock has decreased a little recently. The Fed Chair, Jerome Powell, in the press briefing on the FOMC meeting and interest rates, said that substantial further progress was required before interest rate rises or tapering. The Fed Chair set a limit, a target if you like, on the effective federal funds rate between 0 and 0.25. It's currently 0.08. When it starts to get above 0.25, we would expect tapering and the increase in interest rates. Everything we do here is to create an early warning system for change. We can see that we're way below that red line now. I want to introduce you to another gem. When people talk about GDP, they can be referring to different things, and they all have basically different values. Gross domestic product here is different from real GDP, which we can see is under the pre-COVID high as well. Gross domestic product, GDP, normalized for the United States is way under. These are all important measures to keep in your mind. The Fed talked about PCE, personal consumption expenditures. If they talk about it, I'm going to track it for you. Here we go. We can see this has gone way up. They also talked about real personal consumption expenditures. We can see that this has gone up and is starting to pull back. We can see gross federal debt is climbing. Total public debt has also taken off. Total public debt as a percentage of gross domestic product is decreasing. Jerome Powell said that substantial further progress was needed. I've done a little estimation here on the unemployment rate. I believe, looking back at the past, that unemployment would need to fall to 5.13% and 4.38% to cause liftoff. Liftoff is the concept of tapering and rising interest rates. Jerome Powell also talked about the employment level, and he said substantial further progress was required. I'm putting in an estimate of what that substantial further progress may be. We'll just keep our eye on this. When it gets close, that will cause liftoff, which is tapering and increased interest rates. Jerome Powell also did a lot of indications that it wasn't just one measure of employment. So let's track the employment population ratio between 25 to 54 years of age. My estimation is that it needs to be up around these green bands before liftoff will occur. Another measure that we can track is total non-farm private payroll employment. I believe that liftoff will start to occur when we get around these green bands. We're still quite a way off that happening. We'll also keep our eye on the employment population ratio. Again, I believe when it gets between these green bands, somewhere there, discussion about liftoff will start to occur. We will witness discussions about tapering or increasing interest rates. So therefore, we need to keep our eye on this. We are also tracking the CPI, all items in US cities on an average. We can see that that's had a really big uptick. The Fed chair also said for price stability, the long-term goal for break-even inflation, or the inflation rate in general, was 2%. We can see we're a long way away from that. He said that it's likely inflation will persist for several more months. I've just done a quick analysis here. The Fed expects inflation to start falling around here. So for example, it could go up be elevated, and then start to come down. Jerome Powell also talked about an advance notice period where he will inform the markets on what's happening. I think this advance notice period could happen around the start of September. It's really interesting. We need to track this. We know the goal, 2%. We have an idea as to when they are expecting that to occur. You might notice as well that I put the price of Bitcoin in here so that you can see any particular associations. The CPI increase in forward inflation expectation rate for 5 years. We don't know exactly what price stability goal the Fed is talking about, so we'll just set 2% across a variety of different economic measures and track them. Let's set this at 2%. The expectation is that the interest rates will fall in quite a few months in here, in the green period. Basically, Jerome Powell said a lot of the inflation was caused by new and used cars, hospitality, and a number of other things which are temporary. Let's have a look at the 10-year break-even inflation rate. We can see it's passed over this resistance and it's increasing. The Fed says that it will be temporary, that it will come back to this target rate of 2%. We don't actually know which specific economic measure of inflation they're talking about. So we'll just analyze all of them and we'll find out. It will be very obvious as we continue to track this. I've also started tracking PCE inflation rate as well. That's personal consumption expenditure inflation. We're putting 2% here, but we're actually under it at 1.85. This is the thing with economic data. There's so many different data sets that people can point to. We really need to know what they all are to decipher what policymakers are talking about. Looking at the TLT, the 20-year Treasury bond ETF, we can see that that is increasing above support and has crossed another level of resistance and turned that to support. The TNX, the 10-year Treasury note yield, is under resistance. The TYX, the 30-year Treasury bond yield, is at support. The HYG, the high yield corporate bond ETF, is just under resistance. We can see the VIX has backed off a little bit. The NASDAQ 100 is holding its support. The S&P 500 is above support, making a higher high. The Russell 2000 is coming back to resistance. The Dow Jones is under resistance. China's Shanghai Composite Index has recovered. It's just trading above support. China's Hang Seng Technology Index broke down a couple of days ago. It's repairing. It's just coming up to retest this resistance. The FTSE 100 is just below resistance. The Kospi 200 Korea stock market is above support. India's Sensex is above support. Japan's Nikkei 225 is just basically seeking to make support out of this resistance. Germany's DAX 30 is at support. France's CAC 40 is above support, coming back for the retest. Italy's stock market is just testing that support right now. The Singapore stock market is above support. Australia's stock market, the ASX, is above support. Let's check out the individual stocks, the most powerful stocks in the market currently. Facebook is above support. Apple is testing the support. There was a breakdown of that support. Amazon got through this resistance, made a lower high, and has backed off. Netflix broke through resistance and has come back, retested it, failed a little bit, but seeking to push itself up and make support. Google is retracing from an all-time high back to support. Microsoft is retesting this support. Nvidia broke above this resistance, made an all-time high, came back, made a higher low, and is basically just consolidating at the moment. Square has 8,027 Bitcoin. It is above support. Tesla's price has been consolidating within a range. It's above support. Bitcoin is on a bit of a tear. It's coming up to this major resistance line. It's really important that it get above that. It's had so much of an uptick recently. When we look at Bitcoin holdings across ETFs, countries, public companies, and private companies, there are 1,474,840 Bitcoin. Total crypto market cap is $1.523 trillion. We can see it's above this resistance. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, is on a tear. It's way above support. QBTC, the Bitcoin Fund, is above support. CoinShares Physical Bitcoin, BitC, is above support. The Purpose Bitcoin ETF has 22,411 Bitcoin. It's above support. ARK, the ARK Innovation ETF, is currently just above support. ARKW, the ARK Next Generation Internet ETF, is performing more strongly above support. Let's get into the crypto stocks. ADE, the Bitcoin Group, is above this resistance, making a fairly strong play up. Voyager Digital is still under resistance. It has 12,260 Bitcoin. Hive Blockchain is currently being supported. Bitfarms came up to attack this resistance and is seeking to turn that into support. Argo Blockchain, ARB, is continuing up above support. Coinbase Global holds 4,482 Bitcoin and is rallying up with support. Galaxy Digital Holdings holds 16,400 Bitcoin. It's coming up with support. Marathon Digital holds 5,784 Bitcoin. It's currently under this resistance, but coming up. Riot Blockchain is under this resistance. It has 2,243 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is just under this resistance. Silvergate Capital Corporation is above support here. It's almost ready to break out. It's got quite a good chart. Bit Digital, which is quite a small player, has broken out very strongly above this resistance. Of course, it moves with Bitcoin. We have an early warning system put together to monitor airlines and other defensive areas of the economic system. We're trying to see if any crash is possible or any retracement. When we look at the airline index, we can see the airline index is currently at support. It broke over this resistance. That's looking fairly healthy. If there was a real Delta variant problem, this would collapse, so this is good. The transportation ETF has been a little bit wobbly of late. It managed to cross over this resistance and has just recently fallen under support. XLU, the utilities, is primarily a defensive sector. We can see an upward momentum in price over that resistance. We need to keep our eye on this. The gold futures have done quite well. There's a lot of resistance here. Currently, gold is attacking that resistance, seeking to turn it into support. Silver's price has bounced off this long-term support line and is starting to rally strongly. Copper futures have recently shown weakness, but they're now above that resistance, coming back in for the retest. Lumber continues to show weakness. China coal is gathering strength to attack this resistance level. The Brent oil futures are maintaining that support line. Light crude had weakness and is retraced and holding that support currently. The DXY, the dollar currency index, has sharply backed away from that one support, now resistance. Ethereum is in an uptrend and currently has breached that resistance. BNB exhibiting the same pattern, has cross resistance and has an upward support channel. ADA has also crossed its resistance and is in an uptrend of support. XRP overcame recent resistance and has been rallying strongly. Doge has crossed resistance and is now being supported. DOT has crossed resistance and is in an uptrend. Uni has also crossed resistance and is in an uptrend as well. What I see when I look at Bitcoin Cash, it's overcome a lot of resistance, substantial resistance here. It's broken to the other side. That's very healthy. When looking at Litecoin, I see a similar thing to Bitcoin Cash. It's overcome a significant amount of resistance and is now in an uptrend. Chainlink has also crossed over this resistance and now in an uptrend. Solana's showing weakness. This resistance has not yet been breached. What I see when I look at Matic, it's overcome a lot of resistance, but it's acting weak in terms of that support. It's just a little bit under. Ethereum Classic is quite intriguing. It's using this once resistance as support. Stellar broke this resistance here, then broke this resistance here and is in an uptrend. Theta has overcome resistance and is an uptrend. VeChain has broken this resistance, is currently in an uptrend but showing a little bit of weakness around the current price. Let's have a look at Luna. We can see Luna's performing really well. This is why we focus on so many different dimensions. We need to know the stock markets. We need to know what's happening. We're going to give Luna a green key over here to help us identify that this is acting strongly with strength. Filecoin has been under the hammer recently. Poor Filecoin. It's basically under that support. There is now resistance. We may give this one a red just to say that we can see that there's some weakness in it. Let's see what happens. Filecoin could recover extremely quickly. Tron has overcome resistance, is in an uptrend currently. Monero XMR has overcome this resistance and it's being supported very well. We're going to give this one a green. It's performing quite well. Aave's chart is really quite interesting. It's overcome this resistance, turned it to support, but its overall behavior is quite strong. You notice this low, this higher low. This is a green. Let's turn that to green. EOS has overcome resistance and is currently on a semi-uptrend. Cake has overcome this resistance, is on the other side. Let's see when this one demonstrates some strength to us. FTX token is behaving quite interestingly too. It's overcome this resistance and it's looking to have a little bit of strength. Let's just give this one a sort of amber light, not really green yet. Axie Infinity is looking incredibly powerful. We're going to give this one a special color. This is a blue. It's showing extreme strength. Whenever we see extreme strength, we're going to give it a blue. When I look at Algo, what I see is an overcoming of resistance here. It's trading to the other side. I'm going to give this one a green. It's looking quite good. Let's have a look at the graph, GRT. We can see it's under this resistance. When we see anything under resistance, we just give it a red or something that is showing some weakness. When I look at Maker, it is a DeFi play and it's really strong. Look at this, it's overcome this resistance and then secondary resistance, and now it's playing out in fresh air. There's also a degree of support underneath here. I'm going to give it a blue. I believe it's showing strength. Let's have a look at Atom, which is Cosmos. It's a content creation platform. We can see that it is actually below this resistance. We've got an up channel of support here. It's about midway. It's showing a little bit of weakness, so we'll just give it a red so that we can track it as it moves into strength. Neo is a platform. It's an enterprise solution, smart contract. We can see that it's actually overcome this resistance. It's now getting into fresh air. I think that looks really good. I'm going to give it a green. Looking at Tezos, XTZ, we see it's an enterprise solution for collectibles and NFTs. It's bypassed this once resistance, turned it into support. It's clearing out these problems here. That looks quite good. Let's give that a green. Let's have a look at IOTA. What we see here, it's overcome this resistance, and now starting to create support. What is IOTA? It's a distributed ledger. It isn't actually a blockchain. It's proprietary technology known as Tangle. That's a system of nodes that confirm transactions. It's really an alt designed for the Internet of Things ecosystem. Let's give that one a green. Let's have a look at AVAX or Avalanche. We can see this resistance is still not broken. So we're going to give it, just for the moment, a red. But what is Avalanche? It's an umbrella platform for launching decentralized finance or DeFi applications, financial assets, trading, and other services. Let's have a look at Comp. We can see this resistance that AVAX was under has been turned into support with Comp. It's really good, actually. So what is Comp? Compound is a DeFi lending protocol that allows users to earn interest on their cryptocurrencies by depositing them into one of several pools supported by the platform. Because of this strength, we're going to give this one a blue. It could be quite the one to watch. Let's have a look at BitTorrent. BitTorrent, we can see this resistance. BTT is coming across this resistance and seeking to turn it into support. That's quite good. We'll just give it a amber. BitTorrent is a popular peer-to-peer file sharing and torrent platform, which has become increasingly decentralized in recent years. Let's have a look at HBAR, Hedera Hashgraph. What is Hedera Hashgraph? It's a public network that allows individuals and businesses to create powerful, decentralized applications called dApps. This is quite an interesting graph. What it shows us, this resistance has been covered. It's been turned into support. Now we're seeing quite a strong price action. We're going to give that one a green. It's almost a blue, but we'll just leave it at a green for now. Let's have a look at Decred. Decred has overcome this resistance here. It's turning it into support. We'll give it a green. Let's have a look at T-Fuel. We can see T-Fuel has bypassed this resistance and this resistance. It's on the other side of that. That's really looking quite good. So what is T-Fuel? It's the second token on the Theta blockchain that serves as the utility token in a decentralized video and data delivery. It's a gas token. T-Fuel powers all operations on the Theta blockchain, like payments to relayers for sharing video streams, for deploying and interacting with smart contracts, and as fees associated with transacting NFTs and DeFi applications. This is looking really promising. I'm going to give it a green. When I say promising, not so much about the technology, just the chart. That's actually a hidden crypto gem. When we look at price, there's always a difference between potential and reality. The reality tends to come out in the technicals. That's why we focus on them. This is the reality of what's happening. This is quite good for T-Fuel. If we go back and look at theta, which is of course associated with T-Fuel, we see quite a different scenario. I'll explain what I mean by that. We can see, well, maybe I draw a line for you, just a bit of a hidden gem. If we look at this, if we draw this line out, we can see that this level of resistance has been turned into support. That's pretty good. But if we go back to T-Fuel, notice how much different it is. The consolidation of price around here, let's go back to theta. You see the difference? They're quite different in nature. There's a lot of consolidation here. Theta increased much more but dropped much more. Let's go back to T-Fuel. T-Fuel consolidated around here, went up and then dropped back. They're quite different behaviors in the charts. As a hidden crypto gem, it's really good to associate different cryptos with their associations, just like what we've done with T-Fuel and theta. That can give you a really good view as to which one or ones are stronger than others. You always want to back strength. That is another hidden gem. We started this episode with Rule 106, concentrated focus. You can see how concentrated you need to be to look across so many dimensions of the market. We looked economically. What did we determine? Everything is good. There is a way to go before any change will occur inside the system. What did we see in the stock market? That everything was looking pretty good. It's just as it was before. What did we see in the crypto stocks, such as GBTC, Marathon Digital, etc.? What did we see there? We saw that those stocks are moved by Bitcoin's price. We saw Bitcoin go up. We see those stocks go up. It's just the way. What did we see when we look through the ALTS? So many of those ALTS have different patterns. They have different strengths, different powers underneath them. It's really important to look through as many ALTS as you can. Don't simply focus on the ones that you follow. You could be missing out on a lot of opportunities. Here is a gem for you. Rule 28. Opportunities reset daily. Just like when you wake up every morning, it's a new day, a chance to begin again. You don't have to be the same as you were yesterday. You can completely turn your life around just by waking up with a different attitude. When you look through all of these alts, all of this economic data, you are becoming truly powerful in an incredible way. You understand things that other people just don't know. People read the news, we look at the facts. We're a very, very different community. You know what's going across all the different markets. You have powerful knowledge. That powerful knowledge unlocks opportunities for you every day. I see the foundations of our community as integrity, hard work, kindness, and strength. We never stop trying. We're always reaching further and farther than we could before. We're seeking knowledge and always to become better financially, emotionally, and any other way that we can improve. It's a beautiful community. I want to thank you so much for being a part of it. I hope you found the content useful. Everything I do for you is free. Please be aware of scammers. Thank you to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Please say hi and let me know if you have any questions. I'm very happy to answer them and include them in future videos. If you would like twice daily updates 7 days a week on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. And we have Facebook and Discord groups which are 100% free. You can also follow me on Twitter. Always remember, crypto is volatile. Please prepare yourself for the best and the worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.